फ्रेंड्स एंड गुड मॉर्निंग टू डे 18 ऑफ माय ब्लॉग। जैसा कि मैंने बोला था कि आज जाएंगे हम अपने क्रूज़ पे हार्बर टूर के लिए, तो आ गए हैं यहाँ पे, आप लोग देख रहे होंगे। तो चलिए करते हैं, मतलब कूपन वगैरह सब कुछ कर लिए थे, ब्रेकफास्ट वगैरह करके आ गए। और यहाँ पे जो हमारा वो था टिकट वगैरह ले लिए हैं, बस बोर्ड करना है। बहुत लेट हो गया था यार, लास्ट टाइम पे एकदम चेक इन किया है। 10 बजे की क्रूज़ थी और अपनी, और हम यहाँ पे 9:57 पे बोर्ड कर रहे हैं। फाइनली पहुँच गए हम यहाँ पे। चलिए ऊपर देखते हैं क्या है। काफ़ी सही सीन है यहाँ पे, और लोग देख लो बाहर वगैरह है, और पीछे पूरी जगह है। और कुछ समय हम करने वाले हैं यहाँ से टेक ऑफ। तो फ्रेंड्स बने रहिएगा, 2 घंटे का टूर है, बहुत ही मज़ा आने वाला है। और फिनिक्स में रहते तो ठंडी का मत पता ही नहीं चलता है, मतलब अब तो गर्मी से ऐसा लगता है, लेकिन यहाँ पे ठंडी है यार। सुबह तो पूरा फॉग वॉग था। तो चलिए वेट करते हैं क्रूज़ के जाने का, और उसके बाद देखते हैं क्या है सीन। फ्रेंड सेटल हो गए, आप लोग देखिए कैप्टन जी अनाउंसमेंट कर रहे हैं जहाज निकालने से
Second, we kindly ask that you guys keep tables and chairs where they're located at all times. All walkways must remain clear for crew and other passengers to safely move around this vessel. Life jackets are located in overhead compartments, above windows and behind curtains. On the lowest deck, the deck you guys boarded the Spirit of San Diego.
Iron-hulled sailing ship in the whole world. She was launched 5 days before Abraham Lincoln gave the Gettysburg Address. That's how old this boat is. She was sailing almost 50 years when they launched the Titanic. Now she started life as the Euterpe, meaning bringer of delight. She hauled immigrants from Great Britain to New Zealand, got involved in the salmon industry, and eventually was acquired by our Maritime Museum. And I understand when they bought her, they got a really good deal. Yeah, because she was on sale. Like black, I don't know, this pirate ship-y looking boat. This is a replica of the Royal British frigate Rose. Now the HMS Surprise is not just a frigate, she is also a movie star. You would have seen her in the Pirates of the Caribbean 4, or perhaps Master and Commander Far Side. And wait, where is it? Far Side of the World. The Berkeley, now this is a ferry boat built in 1898, and she operated in San Francisco Bay for 60 years. In the aftermath of the 1906 San Francisco earthquake, the fires that followed, the captain and crew of the Berkeley worked night and day to rescue survivors from the devastation.
सो गाइस, मैं तो ले रहा हूँ फुल मजा इस क्रूज राइड का। आप लोग भी इस वीडियो के थ्रू लीजिए मजा इस पूरे राइड का। पूरा अभी मजा आने वाला, वॉरशिप वगैरह आने वाली हैं, तो चलिए मजा लेते हैं आगे वीडियो का।
They put out 5,000 gallons a minute of fuel when people come along to get fuel. So in order to keep any kind of spill becoming an environmental disaster, they use that black and orange fuel containment boom. A little boat called a beaver will come around and pull that boom around the boat that's getting, the ship that's getting fuel, and the pier as well. So if there's any kind of spill, it stays in just kind of a maintained area. It's easier to clean up. Now I told you about the dolphin training facility. Across on the right we have a sea lion training facility. The sea lions are about as smart as 4-year-old children and can be taught to keep a clamp in their mouth and retrieve things off the ocean floor for the Navy personnel. Now these are sea lions with a job over there, but we're going to be coming up on the wild sea lions real soon. So if you want to see some wildlife, it will be on the right of our ship. We're going to be seeing some California sea lions, some seabirds. Now if we see the males out here, you'll see some pretty big sea lions out here. They get over 800 pounds, which is like a grizzly bear with flippers. The females will be a little smaller, about 250. We might have some pups. Acts much like a drug dog at the airport, but instead of sniffing out narcotics, they use their superior underwater eyesight and natural sonar abilities to locate and mark explosive or listening devices that may have been put alongside a ship or pier. Those dolphins are about as smart as 8-year-old children and can understand 200 commands.
भाई ये डॉल्फिन को भी ट्रेन करते हैं भाई, सही है गुरु।
2 squares over, we've got some little babies just from last year in there. There'll be more this spring, but that's last year's crop right there. The females are pregnant for 11 months and then give birth to 1 pup that they keep for a year to wing. Look at that beautiful sea lion playing on the wall there. Now, the big one sitting with his nose in the air, that's one of the males there, and that's a pretty small one. We get some whoppers out here. Now, each of these barges are laying on top of has bait fish in a cage beneath it. Now, the smell of the bait fish brings in other fish that the sea lion can eat, but they can't get to the ones in the cages. I'll show you the 2 easiest ones to spot. If you look to this first pier that we're passing right now, on the left side of that, you'll see a submarine. It's that long thing with the little black house and then the chimneys on top. And as we come by the second pier, same thing. It'll be on the left side of that pier. Now these are 360 feet long. They carry Tomahawk missiles, a crew of 147. And they can stay down for months without resurfacing. 90 days these guys can be underwater before having to come back up. That looks like a gray building with cranes on it. This is a dry dock. To operate that, they fill the sides with water, sink it down, submerge it, drive a submarine into it, release the water, lift it back up. So behind that black net and under all that scaffolding is a Los Angeles class nuclear powered submarine being repaired and maintained. Now the pebbly beach up ahead is Ballast Point. This is where Cabrillo landed back in 1542 and charted the bay. Now, he wasn't the person to discover the bay. The Kumeyaay Nation lived here for hundreds of years. They knew about the bay and its resources. But being the first European, he gets the credit. Cabrillo is where we generally have 3 Nimitz-class nuclear-powered aircraft carriers stationed. The number 70, the Carl Vinson, is away. But we have the number 72 right here ahead of us and around the corner, 71. The 71's the USS Abraham Lincoln, and that's the first one ever to have a female aircraft carrier commander in the Navy. That had Amy Bauerschmidt as her commander for a few years. And right up ahead to the right is the number 72, the USS Theodore Roosevelt. Now this one has a nickname, the Big Stick. Theodore Roosevelt used to say, "Speak softly and carry a big stick." So this is a field, just the flight deck. In fact, if you want some perspective, that white thing midway on the ship there, that is the car of a big rig truck. So picture you're looking up at a truck from your automobile, how big that is. And that little tiny rectangle there is the truck, to give you some perspective on the size.
So guys, कैसा लग रहा है आप लोगों को ये क्रूज ट्रिप? मेरे को तो बहुत ही मज़ा आ रहा है यार, ये वर्थ इट एक्सपीरियंस लगा, मतलब पैसा वसूल। और आप लोग देखिए यार, यूएस इसलिए एडवांस है इतना यार, ये सील पेंगुइन वगैरह सब ट्रेन करते हैं। और ये मोस्टली ये जो पोर्ट वगैरह ये नेवी ही बनाई थी, मतलब ये यहाँ पे पत्थर डाल के नेवी बनाई थी, आप लोग सुने ही होंगे बीच में। तो यहाँ पे सारी मतलब ओवरऑल आप पूरा टूर करो हार्बर का, हर जगह नेवी की चीज़ें हैं। कहीं नेवी का वॉरशिप, कहीं नेवी का मिसाइल सेंटर, कहीं नेवी का लाइक कुछ, कहीं नेवी का कुछ। आप लोग वो भी देखे होंगे कि यहाँ पे 5 मतलब 6 जो वॉरशिप जो बॉम्ब हुए थे वहाँ हुआई में, पोर्ट हार्बर में, वो भी यहीं पे डॉक थे। यहाँ से हटा के वहाँ ले गए और लग गई उनकी। तो काफ़ी मज़ा आ रहा है। अभी तो नॉर्थ बाउंड का ट्रिप ख़त्म हुआ है, साउथ बाउंड का भी ट्रिप बचा है। बच्चे क्या कर ही रहे हैं, थोड़ा बहुत भूख लगी थी तो एक स्नैक ले लिया है और कोक ले लिया था, प्यास लगी थी तो चलिए फ्रेंड्स, तब तक मैं करता हूँ कुछ यहाँ पे स्नैक वगैरह खाता हूँ, फिर उसके बाद चलिए वेट करते हैं जब साउथ बाउंड स्टार्ट होता है तो कुछ और नया रिकॉर्ड करते हैं। तो बताइए कैसा लग रहा है आप लोगों को एक्सपीरियंस, कमेंट सेक्शन में ज़रूर बताइए। नए व्यूवर्स सब्सक्राइब करना मत भूलिएगा, और फिर से सारे मेरे व्यूवर्स को हैप्पी न्यू ईयर अगेन।
So these are all actively crewed ships. They come, they go. Sometimes I'll go to talk about one and it's not there anymore. So. And sometimes they bring in something new and exciting for us.
सारी वॉरशिप, मिनी वॉरशिप, डिस्ट्रॉयर, क्रूज, ऑयल फिलर, सारी की सारी फ्लीट खड़ी है यहाँ पे। मज़ा तो है, और डिस्क्रिप्शन सुनके तो और मज़ा आ
Another
रहा है।
landing helicopter dock ship. The number 2 is the USS Essex.
हेलीकॉप्टर पायलट नंबर 2। तो ये डिस्क्रिप्शन सुन के जान के तो और मज़ा आ रहा है। वैसे देख के तो समझ में आ ही जाता है कौन सा डिस्ट्रॉयर है, कौन सा क्रूज है, कौन सा मिनी वॉरशिप है, कौन सा वॉरशिप है। लेकिन यहाँ एक्सप्लेन करके उनकी इम्पोर्टेंस क्या, ये लॉन्च हुए थे, क्या यूज़ है, सही लगता है। मतलब बोलेगा ना वर्थ है, पैसा वसूल भाई। और कितने को लगा ये पैसा वसूल है, कमेंट सेक्शन में बताना बिल्कुल मत भूलिएगा। और न्यू ईयर गिफ्ट की तरफ से सब्सक्राइब करना भी मत भूलिएगा।
They arrive here at our National City facility on ro-ros, cargo ships called ro-ros. The cars roll on and roll off. Some will roll on to these Spacia Hawaii ships, and others will roll on to trucks and trains and other ships to be dispersed throughout the United States. The two large ships in front of us, these are landing helicopter assault ships. The number 7 is the American class USS Tripoli. Next to that, the number 4 is the Boxer. Now these look like aircraft carriers, but remember I said the aircraft carriers are too large to fit under the bridge. These are sort of like mini aircraft carriers. Then the lighter gray ship with the flat top, that is a Zumwalt class warship at 610 feet. This is the largest surface combatant in the world.
तो फ्रेंड्स ये देख रहे हो आप लोग, पूरी वॉरशिप यहीं पे बनती भी है, खड़ी भी है, कंस्ट्रक्शन में भी है कुछ। और वो अपनी एक रिटायर्ड मेडिकल बोट है, मतलब वो पहले जाती थी मदद करने जाती थी, लेकिन अभी तो नहीं। और ये देखिए यहाँ पे एक और वॉरशिप, ये तो रेडी टू यूज़ है, डॉक्ड है। यहाँ पे कुछ रिपेयर वगैरह चल रहा होगा, अपग्रेडेशन। और उधर पूरे डिस्ट्रॉयर, वॉरशिप, मतलब कितनी भरी हुई है यार। अपने इंडिया में 2-4 गिनती के, यहाँ पे तो मैं 6-7 ऐसे ही रिकॉर्ड कर ले रहा हूँ एक पोर्ट पे। तो इससे पता लगता है भाई अमेरिका की नेवी आर्मी कितनी तगड़ी है। मतलब
Island, a landing helicopter dock ship with a stern well in the back there. You can imagine that door folding down, and 100 amphibious vehicles could be kept in that giant garage. The number 90 is one of our Arleigh Burke class guided missile destroyers. These are 505 feet long. They're known as small boys, and they are the most numerous ship in the Navy's fleet. They started building them in the early 1990s, and the Navy's so satisfied with their performance, they are still building them. They typically accompany our strike forces. Now behind that, the conical mast of the San Antonio class landing platform dock, those house its instruments and its sonar, and the configuration of that ship with those octagonal masts make it look like a fishing boat if it's on your radar. So imagine you're surprised if you're out fishing and think it's another fishing boat, and it's one of those babies. Got another Whidbey Island class ship here with the flag flying on the aft. That also has that stern well. And then the San Antonio class a little closer to us here. And the 48, another Whidbey Island. Now we're going to start coming by our littoral combat ships. Now these lighter grade ships with the pointy hulls and the trimaran bodies, these are the Littoral Combat Ship, or LCS. Now these are relatively small surface vessels designed for the shallow nearshore operations. They can be quickly reconfigured to employ different missions. They were intended for things like surface warfare, in the Battle of Ramadi back in 2006 in Iraq. Now these Zumwalt ships, these are pretty stealthy. They're a tumble dome design there, narrows above the waterline, and it reduces their print on the radar. Next to this we have the trimaran ship in the pointy hull. That is a Littoral Combat Ship. We'll see a bunch more of those up ahead, and I'll tell you about those. We have the 207. This is a John S. Lewis class fleet replenishment oiler. In front of that we have a Whidbey Island class ship. Looking to see if we have our Ticonderoga cruiser out here. They are ships, they do move them from time to time. But I think on the other side of the 207 here, we're going to have a Ticonderoga class cruiser in front of this destroyer. Okay, so if you see these two ships on the left side of Pier 10, the one closest to us with the single mast angled back, that is the Arleigh class guided missile destroyer. In front of that is the Ticonderoga cruiser. Now those are the ones we'll most commonly see on our horizon, so it's fun to be able to tell the difference. The cruiser has the two masts and the destroyer just the one. Now these white boxy barges, these are like a motel for the Navy personnel. These are berthing barges. So this is where Navy personnel eats, sleeps, has their recreation while they are getting their ships worked on. These John S. Lewis class fleet replenishment oilers. These are being built to replace the aging Henry J. Kaiser class tankers. They're operated by the Military Sealift Command to support carrier strike groups, amphibious ready groups, and other naval forces worldwide. So their primary role is to transfer fuel, lubricants, fresh water, and dry cargo to Navy surface ships at sea. That expends their operational endurance, and they can deploy anywhere. Now these ships are named for the former, or rather deceased, civil rights activist John S. Lewis, also a Georgia congressman. And each ship is named for an activist. We have the Robert F. Kennedy. Next to that is the Lucy Stone. And as we come by the NASCO dry dock, if you look to the land, you'll see the Sojourner Truth. She's almost done. It's been pretty fun watching these ships be built all summer. It's like watching a giant Lego set. In fact, it's a $650 million Lego ship set. Each of these ships cost about $650 million to build, and NASCO has a contract for 20 of them. To the left of the Littoral Combat Ship, you'll see a ship with E964 on her bow. That one, that's a blast from the past. That is the last Spruance class ship in existence. There used to be 31, and this one, the former Paul S. Foster, is the last one left. She got a new life in 2005 when she was reconfigured to be able to be run and propelled remotely. So now they take her out to sea, uncrewed, no people on board, and use her as a defense systems testing ship. So basically they fire missiles at her and see if the defense systems they're experimenting are working. Now,
That
I'm not
ship,
in the
no,
Navy,
badi
I
wali,
don't
badi
get
wali.
memos, but I think if the ship is still there, then those defense systems must be working. And a couple of Navy security vessels over here. Give those guys a wave. They're here protecting our bay, keeping everything safe. Wow, they did a lot of work on that. So in this yellow dry dock here, all this white wrapping is environmental protection barrier. I think that's a destroyer in there, but it's hard to tell anymore. But that barrier, it's not hiding all the top secret stuff. It's just basically to keep the dust and debris and the nuts and the bolts and whatnot out of our bay water. It's part of the Navy's effort to be a good steward of our bay. Now in this next dry dock, the BAE dry dock up here, this is
ये येलो वाले ये सब सारे ड्राई डॉक यहाँ पे बनाते
destroyer
हैं
all the
सब।
way out of the water, and if they haven't covered, yep, you still see it. That is her bulbous bow in front there on the bottom, and that bulbous bow is
ये
that
देखो,
large red bulge at the bottom of the ship. That is
Destroyer बना
used
रहा
for
है।
hydrodynamics to better disperse the water around the ship, and it houses the ship's sonar. Now, if you want to try to get another glimpse at those mission bells as we come up under the bridge, you got another chance. So I'm looking at where the supports meet the bridge up at the top, and you just see the silhouette of the cutout of the bell. Just a little extra bonus feature the architect threw in there for interest.
सो गाइस, इसी के साथ हमारी क्रूज राइड हुई खत्म। करते हैं ब्लॉग के पार्ट 1 को आज ओवर। इसके बाद जाएंगे मैक्सिको, घूमेंगे वहां पे, और वो पार्ट आएगा कल। तब तक के लिए अलविदा। बताइएगा कैसा लगा आज का ब्लॉग, और क्रूज राइड, वॉरशिप वगैरह देख के कैसा लगा।